call me unstable, but they call me unstable, but I won't break. They throw their stones, but I won't shake. I've been through fire, I've been through pain, yet here I stand, I'll rise again. You think I'm losing, but watch me lead. I'm a different kind, I plant the seed. For every word they try to twist, I'm standing strong, I still exist. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. They say I've got an unsound mind, but strength like this is hard to find. I speak the truth, I won't be quiet. In every storm I start a riot. You're not used to fire in my words, but I won't fly with the common birds. I rise above, I lead with pride. This unsound mind won't run or hide. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. They call me unbecoming, but I shine. I lead with strength, this power's mine. They say my words are just too bold, but I won't bend, I won't be sold. I'm not the kind to just obey. I carve my path, I make my way. And if they push, I push back harder. This is my truth, I'm no martyr. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. Say I've got unusual, out of line, but I'll keep climbing. This mountain's mine. I speak like you, that every day my words don't fade, they'll never sway. I won't be silenced, I won't hide. I fight with heart, I fight with pride. Let them gossip, let them scorn. I'm reborn in every storm. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. Say I've lost my mind, but I'm a warrior, one of a kind. They twist my words, but I stand tall. I'll never back down, I'll never crawl. I'll fight for truth, I'll fight for me. And if they push, I'll set them free. From all their lies, I'll break the chains. I'm here to lead, I'll bear the reins. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. I'm stable, no, I'm standing strong, unsound. No, I know where I belong, I'm becoming. I break the mold, unusual. I'm brave, I'm bold, unhinged. I'm just unbreakable. I'm unstoppable, unshakable. You can't define me, I'll never fall. I'm not the one to fear the fight. I speak my truth, I'll own the night. I'm not just different, I'm unbreakable.
Ayan, good morning, good morning, good morning sa inyong lahat. Oo nga, no, ngayon nga pala yung hearing ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. Ano bang gusto ninyo? Panoorin na lang muna natin yung hearing ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy o mag-topic tayo? Ayan, good morning sa inyong lahat ha. Wapakers, All Rock. Ay, Maring Mocha. Ay, hindi, alam mo, Wapakers. Ano yan, si Maring Mocha, pabayaan mo lang muna na, nawawala sa live natin. Minsan naka-busy yan, kasi busy ang tao niyan, kasi malapit na birthday niyan. Malapit na ang birthday niya, malapit na. Kaya nga 'di ba? Oo. I-live nyo na lang po. Dito kayo manood. O sige. Ito ha, kayong mga nasa mga nasasalanta ng bagyo, yung hinahagupit ng bagyo ngayon, mag-iingat kayo ha. Pasensya na po kayo at ang gobyerno natin tulog. Busy po sila, busy ha. Busy ang ating gobyerno sa pag-atake sa mga kalaban nila sa politika. Busy ang gobyerno sa pagtatakip nila. Oo, sa hindi marunong maging presidente.
Oh no!
Kaya yung mga sinasalanta ng bagyo ngayon, mga hinahagupit ng bagyo ngayon, yung mga nakakaranas ng malalakas na ulan, hangin at baha. Pasensya na po kayo. At ang gobyerno po natin ngayon, tulog. Tulog. Busy sila. Oo, sa pagtatakip sa bangag na presidente. Oo, busy sila sa pag-atake sa mga Duterte at sa mga kaalyado nila, mga animal sila.
Oh no!
Di ba? Kita mo, umulan, bumagyo, ayos lang. Sa Kongreso at sa Senado. Pasensya na po kayo at ang Pangulo natin ay hindi marunong maging presidente.
Oh no!
Sige, panoorin muna natin yung kay Pastor, Panoorin muna natin yung hearing. Dito na lang kayo manood. At saka, papalitan ko na lang yung title natin. Mamaya na lang tayo mag-topic, Mariosep, ito si ano?
Miss Elaine Pauline Canada, Ingrid Canada, Sylvia Semanes. With online is Miss Arlene Canuda Stone, Mr. Edward Ablasa Masayon, Mr. Joar Martinet Olimba, Miss Teresita Tinanhan Valdehuesa, Miss Jocelyn Mondejar, and online also is Miss Yulia Veronin, and online also is Mr. Dindo Garcia Makiling. We will be joined later by alias Marie, Senator. That's all. May I request all of those who have not yet taken their oaths, the resource persons and witnesses as well, to stand up. And please raise your right hand. Resource persons and witnesses, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this Senate inquiry proceedings?
Yes.
Senator, they have all answered in the affirmative. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Comsec, at maraming salamat sa lahat ng resource persons. At this point, bago natin unang dinigin yung ating mga victim survivors, first I would like to call on the Majority Leader, Senator Francis Tolentino, para sa kanilang opening statement. You have the floor, Majo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga sa ating mga resource persons. Magandang umaga kay Pastor Apollo Quiboloy at sa lahat ng mga naririto. At sa mga kapwa kong mambabatas, kahit po yung nandoon sa online at sa ating mga panauhin, tayo po ay naririto sa harap ng committee ito sa isang maulang araw. At nais ko lang linawin po ang layunin para sa aking perspective as an officer of the court, as a lawyer, kung ano po ang layunin at kahalagahan ng pagdinig na ito. Ang Senado ay, unang-una, ang Senado ay hindi isang hukuman. At hindi po tayo naririto upang magpasya kung ang isang tao ay nagkasala o walang sala. Sa ilalim ng saligang batas ng Pilipinas, lalong-lalo na sa Article 6, Section 21, binigyan tayo ng kapangyarihan. Tinutukoy ko po ang mga mambabatas na magsagawa ng mga investigasyon in aid of legislation o bilang tulong sa paggawa ng mga batas. Sa hukuman, ang pangunahing layunin ay ang paglutas ng mga kaso at pag-alam kung may pananagutan o wala ang mga akusado. batay sa ebidensyang ipinapakita. Sa Senado, ang ating layunin ay iba. Ito ay upang mag-imbestiga at mangalap ng mga impormasyon at dokumento para sa isang makatarungan at makabuluhang pagbalangkas ng mga batas. Sa isang husgado, meron pong tinatawag na right cross-examine witnesses. Maliwanag po sa Rules of Court, ang Bill of Rights, at iba pa. Ngunit nais ko pong ipabatid na ang karapatang mag-cross-examine ng mga testigo, isang mahalagang bahagi ng mga pagdinig ng korte, ay hindi saklaw ng investigasyong ito. Ang proseso ng cross-examination at iba pang pamamaraan na ginagamit ng korte ay eksklusibo sa hudikatura. But we recognize, this committee, again as an officer of the court, recognizes the primacy of the judiciary insofar as this issue is concerned. One, because the committee requested the Regional Trial Court of Pasig to allow the detainees to attend today's hearing. It is an acknowledgement of the court's jurisdiction over the accused. Number two, the committee, before it moved and conducted a hearing today, showed respect to the court by acknowledging the court's jurisdiction and not conducting a hearing without the prior court approval. And number two, and I would want to make a motion here before I continue my opening statement, Madam Chair, this committee should likewise be furnished a copy of any opposition filed to form part of the records of these proceedings of the counsel of those accused present here. I request, Madam Chair, that we be provided copies of any opposition filed by the group of Pastor Quiboloy and all other accused in the Pasig case, if that would merit the consideration of this committee, Madam Chair.
So ruled, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That would form part of the records of this case, Madam Chair. And again, I reiterate what I've been saying here. Ang atin pong ginagawa ay hindi po para maghusga ng innocence or guilt ng mga akusado sa isang kaso. Subalit, nais po rin nating bigyan diin na napakaraming desisyon ng Korte Suprema, simula pa lang nung Arnold versus Nazareno, 1950, na binigyan diin ng Korte Suprema ang kapangyarihan ng Senado na mag-imbita at magpatawag ng mga saksi, resource persons, para linawin ang paggawa ng batas. At kaya po tayo merong pagdinig ngayon. Subalit, nais ko pong hilingin sa lahat na during these proceedings, we show utmost respect and consideration to all persons here present, whether accuser or accused. Ang Senado po should remain as a bastion of dignity. Hindi po tayo
Ayan na, Risa, maliwanag ha.
tapon ng kung ano-anong dumi sa bawat isa, kung hindi para ipakita na ang paggawa ng batas ay ating pinapahalagahan at pinapahalagahan din natin ang karapatan ng mga naririto. Sa hukuman, meron silang, ulitin ko, meron silang karapatan na magsalita ang abogado. Dito po ay hindi. Let me ask the committee and all my colleagues here, whether present physically or virtually, to assure all of those listening that under our rules, all resource persons will be treated with respect and afforded fair treatment. And that this institution,
Tama,
as said,
respect.
will always pride itself in upholding the principles of fairness and transparency. However, there are legal matters against you. It must be addressed in the proper judicial forum, not here. In summary, while we have the authority to compel testimony in aid of legislation, any allegations or charges will have to be resolved in the court of law. And I'm now referring to the Regional Trial Court of Pasig. Madam Chair, let us always be reminded that we have a constitution. We
Tama!
have a living constitution.
Tama!
And that the constitution should stand as our unwavering shield, protecting the rights of all, whether accused or accuser, in ensuring that justice is served without discrimination and with fairness and equality. Sana po sa pagdinig na ito, makagawa tayo ng nararapat na pagbabago sa batas, and I'm referring to the Human Trafficking Act, the elements of which we cannot change because we're bound. Secretary Manalo is here by the Palermo Convention. Perhaps the penalties could be increased, but just the same, this hearing is required of us as part of the complexities of governance that would require us to listen to various voices, even those embroiled in legal challenges and scrutiny. Again, Madam Chair, it is crucial that we uphold the integrity of our legislative process by respecting all resource persons present and upholding due process and fairness. Our commitment must be to engage in a meaningful dialogue while adhering to the principles of justice and respect for individual rights. Our role is to seek the truth. To seek the truth. Mapagandan ho natin yung batas, marami nakikinig ngayon, and not to pass judgment. Madam Chair, thank you for giving me the privilege to have an opening statement, and again, let that serve as a continuing manifestation as to the role of this committee in the coming minutes and in the coming hours as we proceed. I now yield the floor. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyo lahat.
Maraming salamat din po, Majority Leader. At dagdag dun sa areas of legislation na tinukoy ng Majority Leader, inuulit ko lang yung bahagi ng opening statement ko rin kanina tungkol sa ating mga batas kaugnay ng pag-misuse ng usapin ng religious freedom, yung mga rape laws natin, kung nasasaklaw na nito yung mga usapin ng consent, sexual agency at religious freedom, at yung mga labor laws din natin, kung saklaw yung mga karapatan at kagalingan ng mga tinatawag na religious volunteers. So muli, salamat po sa Majority Leader. And at this point, lastly, bago natin pakinggan yung ating mga victim survivors, may request po sa ating good Foreign Affairs Secretary Manalo dahil kinakailangan nilang umalis ng mas maaga na makapagbigay ng ilang mga salita sa atin. Secretary Manalo, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Maraming salamat, Honorable Chairperson Senator Risa Ontiveros, Honorable Senator Francis Tolentino, my colleagues in government, good morning. I just want to thank Senator Ontiveros in this committee for giving the Department of Foreign Affairs the opportunity to contribute to our meeting today in aid of legislation. Nais ko lang briefing lang on 2 points, with your permission. The first point is on the possible extradition issue. And as you know, the Philippines has an extradition treaty with the United States of America. I wish to report that as of this date, the Department of Foreign Affairs has not received a formal extradition request from the United States. Doon po sa isang issue din, I want to focus on the request for assistance by any Filipino nationals in the United States who may have been victims of human trafficking in relation to this case. As of this date, none of our foreign service posts in the United States have reported receiving any request for assistance. Madam Chair, the DFA is ready to assist in providing any information that we may receive from this date relevant to today's legislative inquiry. And I'm also being joined today by Undersecretary Jesus Domingo, who can add any input if needed for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Manalo. Yes, would Yusek Domingo like to briefly add anything to these two updates on the formal request for extradition and the request for assistance?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, Senator Tolentino. Yes, as Secretary Manalo has mentioned, that we have not yet received a formal request, but we are standing by. Also, we have also not received any request with regard to trafficking, with assistance with respect to the human trafficking. But all our Foreign Service posts and all our offices in the Department of Foreign Affairs stand ready. And we have been in informal consultation and communications with our sister agencies in government. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you also, Yusek Domingo. The Majority Leader would like
Just
to
one
intervene.
quick follow-up question, address either the Secretary Manalo or Yusek Domingo. I have here in my possession in front of me our extradition treaty signed November 13, 1994, which I believe should be read alongside Presidential Decree 1069. This has some legal complexities involved, and perhaps you might want to educate this committee, which would have primacy just in case an extradition request is sent to the DFA. What would happen to the pending cases lodged before the Regional Trial Court of Pasig pursuant to PD 1069?
Thank you very much,
Secretary
Senator.
Manalo.
If I could first give a very general answer, and then, of course, on any specifics that might arise in the event that we receive a formal extradition request. Just to say, if we do receive a formal request, we will, the DFA will, of course, study it and see if it is consistent with the agreed procedure pertaining to extradition. And here's where PD 1069 would also come in. So we would have to study that. And then after, if we are satisfied with the request, we will of course refer it to the Department of Justice for relevant action. So in other words, we will still have to study any extradition request if received. Perhaps later, it's quite a detailed approach, pero yun ang general approach if we do receive such a request. Thank you.
One quick follow-up, just to remind the officials of Department of Foreign Affairs as well as councils present here. Anything that would transpire and would come out of these proceedings under oath would be recorded. And pursuant to existing extradition rules, any request to have any transcripts coming out of these proceedings would have to be coursed through the DFA. Kayo po ang magpapadala nito mula sa committee ito papunta kung saan man. So you should be aware of that, and the lawyers here present should be aware of that, because this would trigger some concerns involving civil rights or individual rights. So just be aware of that. And
Parang
I
nakakabawi si
suggest, Madam
Tolentino
Chair,
ngayon
that the
Tolentino,
DFA
mayos ka.
should stay here till the conclusion of the investigation proceedings, to be physically present. But that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Assured naman po tayo na bagamat may kailangang mauna nang umalis si Secretary Manalo, that Yusek Domingo will stay on with us. So the department will be well represented. Salamat po, Secretary Manalo, Undersecretary Domingo at,
Maring
Majority
Pelisnel,
Leader.
magandang
So,
gabi sa iyo
ngayon po, ang una po nating witness ngayong umaga ay si Teresita Valdehuesa, ang di umanong miyembro ng unang batch ng pastoral ni Apollo Quiboloy. Bago po siya magsimula, I would like everyone to listen to this video, to watch this video. Si Ms. Teresita Ms. Ging, ang pinapatungkulan dito, but it will also give a sense of the threats that victim survivors face from within the kingdom. Open source po itong video na ito. In fact, galing sa public channel ni Pastor dati. So, i-play na po natin ngayon para mapanood natin lahat.
She contacted someone named Teresita Valdehuesa, who was a former worker here in the kingdom, who committed lapses of fornication with many, many ministers and men. That is why she was supposed to be disciplined, but she went out. This Alina Ostapchenko is saying things against me, and we were able to do record every bit of what she said. Listen to her voice. Everything that you have said to Teresita Valdehuesa, who was a former worker here, who also backslid because of some lapses in immorality, will give you a sample of her voice that was recorded. Go.
I'm fine, dear. I remember you, Bayo. And I'm so glad that I already out of the kingdom. And it's a miracle that how I exit from there. Because the time kasi I was so fanatic before. But when, time passed, I realized many things I can also share with you if you like. Ask me if I'm ready to dedicate my life. I said yes, because for me, I was thinking dedicate to God, so I never think about other stuff. And suddenly, he was on me already, and he was trying to pull my pants already off. And then things started to happen, and I understand that, oh my goodness, it's like I have to switch off my mind. I will not question, I will not ask if it's Father's will in my mind. That time, I will just not try not to feel anything like that. And because I was shocked by what's happening in the room.
You have to prove that in court. Because this is an international ministry, and I have an international reputation. You will be sued by the kingdom in all places that you've called. We will not let this pass. Teresita Valdehuesa will be part of this. So better get your lawyers and defend yourself. We have lawyers all over the world. Wherever there is a kingdom, we have a general counsel in the name of Attorney Michael Green. In America, we have 18 lawyers who are observing all the happenings in the kingdom. We have financial consultants. We have lawyers who will defend the kingdom wherever it is being attacked.
For the record po, yung pastoral na binanggit dito, si Ms. Alina, she gave her consent also to the playing of this video in this hearing. So, Ms. Teresita, meron po kayong testimonyang hinanda. Pwede nyo na pong basahin. You have the floor.
Good morning po, Madam Chair, Honorable Senator Riza Hontiveros, and to Honorable Senator Francisco Tolentino, and to all the members of this august body. I come here today to share the truth that has been silenced for 3 decades because of great fear, and this is also on behalf of the many victims who have suffered in silence just like I have. I believe my testimony reflects their pain, struggles, and resilience. While I understand that this is aimed to aid in legislation, I am also grateful to be given this opportunity to inform those who still believe that Apollo Quiboloy has been innocent of the crimes he is accused of because he has never been. At the age of 17, I became a member of the church led by this man, Apollo Quiboloy, in 1918. I was a freshman student. I was eager and active in the community, even spending a significant portion of my college years living at the parsonage where he resided. In 1988, I made a difficult decision in my life to dedicate this to his ministry, driven by the belief that true fulfillment and salvation lay in serving God fully. This choice meant leaving behind my family, my career, and the person I once
Ang
was.
ang sagot lang naman ni ano diyan
Despite the
eh.
resistance of family and friends,
Andali ah.
I pursued my conviction. I joined a pioneering group that struggled to meet basic needs, but my desire to serve
Alam
God
nyo, ang
fueled my
sagot lang ni
persistence.
Pastor Apollo
Over
Quiboloy
time,
diyan, oh,
I gained
I
his
refuse
trust
to answer.
and
Oo.
became a respected worker within the ministry. As the ministry grew, so did our
Oo,
blessings.
I refuse to answer lang
We
lahat ng
experienced
sagot ni
answered
Pastor.
prayers
Mabibwisit
and
si
expanding
Risa diyan eh.
membership, which
Mm.
deepened our commitment to serving God.
Gagamit yan ng
Quiboloy,
may wagang
was
technique.
considered as God anointed,
Alam mo yung technique na
and
yan?
his words held absolute
Mm.
authority. I respected him deeply.
Alam
viewing
niyo
him
naman kung
as
ano yung technique na
truly the
yan.
man of
Oh,
God.
eh. Di ba?
From the
Oh.
moment I
I refuse
dedicated
to
my life to the
answer.
ministry until 1996,
Bakit? Eh,
I
syempre,
experienced a profound
it will
spiritual
incriminate
awakenings.
me.
I felt forgiven. My love for God deepened.
Oo.
And I was
Di
proud
ba?
to serve alongside a man I believed to be holy. But one day while in Manila, I received a long-distance call from him. He informed me that he had received a divine revelation intended for me and instructed me to travel to Cebu, where he would share this important message. He was also scheduled to preach in Cebu that Sunday. Upon arriving in Cebu City, we arranged for him to stay at the Park Place Hotel in Fuente Osmeña. That evening, he instructed me to remain in the hotel, while Nilda Linda, the assigned worker, returned to the worker's house. When we were alone, I asked if I could just sleep on the sofa as it was a suite room. Instead, he insisted that I would sleep beside him and even said in Bisaya, compatible gyud taging kay parehas man og color ang atong suot. Translated, we are compatible because our outfits were of the same colors. I was wearing red pajamas with white dots, while he was dressed in a red t-shirt and white white pants coincidentally. His words made me feel uneasy and quite nervous, and I saw a different personality in him. But I was quick to dismiss that unusual feeling. And because I had previously witnessed Ingrid Canada or ICC, Teresita Dandan, TTD, and Velina Salinas slept in his room alternately, it led me to believe that it was just normal and harmless. Moreover, we had been conditioned to suppress any negative thoughts about him. We were warned that any suspicion on him would reflect our own personality, using the words found in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 15, I quote, "To the pure, all things are pure. But to those who are corrupted and do not believe, nothing is pure. In fact, both their minds and consciences are corrupted," unquote. And in those days, absolute obedience was a must. We needed to have an unquestioned loyalty and reverence toward him. Sleeping beside a man I believed to be chosen by God was for me then a great privilege, an opportunity for a sinner like me. But what followed shattered my sense of faith and trust. Without a word, after turning off the light, he embraced me, undressed me, and violated me with his lustful act, and left me in shock and speechless. He then said, "This is the fulfillment of God's revelation." He explained that God had revealed to him that I was to partake in God's life through him by surrendering my body, soul, and spirit. He also mentioned that other souls would go through him in a similar manner. His words were strange,
Naku po.
but I was too shocked
Sa
to
tanda
understand.
mo na yan, itsura mo na yan.
The following day after the morning worship service, Apollo C. Quiboloy left for Manila, while I was left to carry on with my duties, including organizing carolers for our annual fundraising. Confusion consumed me. I felt betrayed by my faith, by him, and even perhaps by myself. I began questioning whether what had happened was indeed God's will or simply a gross abuse of power. When I returned to Manila, I was once again instructed to sleep in his room. Fear gripped me, but defying the anointing of God was unthinkable. We had been taught that such disobedience
Eto
would
ha,
invite
eto ha.
affairs.
Huwag kayong
The next morning, he
huwag kang
asked
ano
if
ha,
I
huwag kayong
understood
ano ha.
God's revelation.
Eto naman si Risa, kukuha
I
lang ng
remained silent,
testigo na hinalay,
unable to process what
o
had
na
happened. He
pinagsamantalahan.
then
Putang na
referenced
ganito pa
me
itsura.
to Philippians chapter 2, verses 6 to 12, explaining that just as
Sana yung
Jesus
maganda-ganda man
humbled
lang
himself
yung
and obeyed God,
kapani-paniwala.
even to the point of
Puta
death,
ganyan na, mas
so he
matanda
too
pa yan kay
must
pastor.
obey God's will by partaking in carnal things. He claimed this was necessary for him to understand the human experience and to fully empathize with others. He even told me that he had also been reluctant to accept God's revelation, but as God's chosen one, he had no choice but to act on it. I was more confused with his explanation, but I could not complain. I wanted to go out from the ministry, but I lacked courage. I did not know where to ask help. I had cut all the bridges behind my life, and I could hardly go back because it would mean starting all over again. My family was poor, and I had no connections. My option was to stay because I was still bothered with what if it was indeed God's will? December of the same year was an escape for me. Caroling as one of our sources of funds, and which had been participated in by every member of the ministry all over the country, became my excuse of staying away from the worker's house in Manila where he stayed. In January 1994, I was in his room with Ingrid Canada, the international coordinator of the church, President Dan, the national administrator for the church in the Philippines, and Felina Salinas, his personal assistant. During that
Miss Teresita, before you continue po, yung nabanggit nyo ng 2 beses, Ingrid Canada, nandito po ba siya sa harapan ninyo?
yes, patabi po siya ni Mr. Quiboloy.
Sila po, yung nagtaas ng kamay. All right, salamat po. Please proceed, Miss Teresita.
During that meeting, he informed the girls that I would be included in the inner circle. Right there and then, I realized that these women had likely endured similar experiences. Without any words, we shared a mutual understanding. None of us dared speak about what had happened to us. In February 1994, I was sent to Hong Kong, still carrying all the confusions and emotional turmoil. Despite this, I continued to pretend that everything was fine. When one of our musicians, JC Pangilinan, was scheduled to return to the Philippines, I seized the opportunity to send a personal letter to ACQ. In that letter, I poured out my feelings, openly expressing my emotional distress. I was honest about how deeply shocked I was to learn of his life beyond the pulpit. The man I had revered as a holy figure was in reality an ordinary mortal, one who had exploited my genuine commitment and dedication to God. My faith wavered, and everything I had once believed was shattered. I prepared myself for a harsh response, expecting a violent reaction from him. To my surprise, there was none. Instead, I was sent back here. Upon my return, I was even more surprised to learn that I had been promoted. I was appointed National Crusade Coordinator, National Logistics Coordinator, and Luzon Area Administrator all at once. This was a sudden and significant promotion from my previous role. By God's grace, I excelled in all my assigned tasks. Despite this, fear gripped me every time Apollo Quiboloy would come to Manila. My only relief was when one of the girls would accompany him, giving me an excuse not to sleep with him. I kept myself busy, visiting satellite churches to distract my confusion and agony. One day, ICC confronted me saying, ACQ sensed my distance. I made my work an excuse. February 15, 1998, ACQ used me again. It was always out of fear that I obeyed, a fear mixed with anxiety that he might knew how I pretended to be extremely grateful that he allowed me to be a part of his physical life, because in all honesty and God truly knew I was not. All the pent-up emotions suffocated me that on the following day, while preparing for church, I collapsed. ACQ performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but later I learned he told others that it was just a way for me to seduce him, labeling me as Jezebel the temptress. I believe Apollo Carrion Quiboloy understood that I never wanted the life he was trying to impose on me. My decision to dedicate my life to God's service was driven by a sincere desire for spiritual purification from the sins I had committed before becoming a full-time worker. I had only one goal, to live a holy life and ultimately to attain heaven. As the Bible says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 5, I quote, "Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust." But how could I achieve this with the circumstances that I was in? Disobedience and complaints were never an option. Anyone who did so was labeled as carnal, as someone who did not overcome the flesh. Everything was always twisted. One day, she said, "Sir has noticed that you've been distant." I made up excuses, trying to avoid the truth. I had been telling Tracy Dan that I was extremely exhausted. She presumed that I was just too focused of my responsibilities, especially in the logistics department. I was always pressured to meet my 15 million quota. Every December on caroling season, if ever the sense that there was really something wrong with my belief, I was instructed to prepare my documents for my USA visa, and I believe realization came later when I already left from his group, that it was also to distance me from the workers and members here, that I might be able to tell his dark secret. I never wanted to go to America because inside of me were unresolved spiritual issues, confused mind that bothered me always. But my visa was approved. I then knew that I was to lead and plan for the fundraising to be done in America, and we would employ the same strategy of our money making here in the country. In America, I witnessed the double standard life. What we prohibited in the Philippines, we did them there. We lived in luxury. We toured around. We dined in fine and expensive restaurants. We watched movies. Sky's the limit when they went shopping. I decided to stay in the apartment where the minister and his family lived. Despite the insistence of ICC to stay with them, I refused. I made a lot of excuses. Sapagkat, hindi ko po natin na kaming nasa Amerika ay masyadong nagpakasasa sa paggasta sa pera na masyadong pinaghirapan ng mga kapatiran at ng mga full-time workers. Bilang namuno po sa crusades, evangelism at logistics departments, saksi po ako kung paano nagsakripisyo ang bawat isa para lang makapagbigay sa iba't ibang pangangailangan sa simbahan. Nakita ko na kahit pambili ng bigas ng membro, kailangan sakripisyo pa para lang maibigay sa simbahan, kahit gugutumin pa ang mga pamilya. Nasaksihan ko po na kahit last centavo para pamasahi, kailangang ibigay pa rin. Bahala nang maglakad papuntang simbahan ang mga mahihirap na membro. Hindi kinaya ng aking konsensya ang double standard life. Maraming workers ang napalo dahil sa panunood na ng sine, pero kami sa Amerika, halos linggo-linggo nanood ng sine, bawal sa amin ito dati. Naghirap ang maraming workers at members sa pagkaruling at pagsulisit sa bawat tao sa lahat ng dako dito sa ating bansa. May namatay, may na-aksidente, may nakulong, may mga na-rape pa na hindi na na-report. Dahil baka hindi paniwalaan at baka makapag-fasting pa dahil may kasalanan na itinago, kaya napahintulutang nangyari. Lahat may kota, di ba? Napakasakit po sa damdamin ko dahil ako po ang namuno sa mga fundraisings. After December season, ang mga members kailangang magtinda ng mga kakanin para maibigay sa mga pledges for Alay kay Kristo, building funds, love offerings, television pledges, tithes, and others And when they could not provide for their own foods, they would just resort to fasting. Meron din pa akong quota, 10 to 15 million pesos to raise in the month of December alone. I organized the carolers nationwide to meet my quota. We recruited and trafficked our young people from Mindanao and Visayas to carol in the provinces of Luzon and in the national capital region cities. Marami pong estudyante na Nobyembre pa lang kailangan nang mag-absent sa paralan at ang iba hindi na nakabalik sa pag-aaral dahil inuna ang simbahan, inuna ang pagkaroling, inuna ang paghanap ng pera. But nobody questioned where our income was spent. Sa mga buwan ng Pebrero hanggang Oktubre, ang ibang workers na nasa logistics department, kailangan mag-solicit na naman throughout the country using the permits of the different associations. Pag-asa ng buhay, Children's Way Foundation, tulong sa may kapansanan, handog ng pagmamahal, pagdamay sa dukha, Shivers for Christ. The supposed income na dapat ibigay sa mga beneficiaries, sa mga nasabing associations, hindi naman talaga truthfully and honestly na ibigay. Only a little portion of the income was shared to the beneficiaries. Ang ibang workers naman, walang hinto sa pagtinda rin ng mga kakanin na may quota of 500 to 1,000 pesos a day, Monday to Saturday. Ito ang buhay ng mga workers na nasa logistics department. In America, they began to notice my indifference. ICC called my attention, stating there were reports from my assistant in the logistics department in Manila that I had secretly sent money to my family. Then, she informed me that ministers wrote letters to ACQ and reported that I tempted and fornicated with them during my visits to their satellite churches. I was so shocked to learn of the sudden accusations. I also wrote a letter and enumerated the real circumstances of my life with all the ministers I came in contact with in relation to our aggressive fundraising, being the National Logistics Coordinator. However, that was not enough. I was then forced to write a long letter of confession, making it appear that I was a sinner who committed all kinds of sins, including those I had committed before joining the ministry. I complied, believing that through this written confession, I would be totally forgiven from my old sins and burdens and be completely sanctified. In detail, I wrote everything I thought was considered sin I had committed from childhood until the present. I also implicated ACQ in my sins. It had the same tenor of the letter I wrote in Hong Kong in 1994. And this time, he was furious. Then ICC
Ate Dolly for short.
instructed
Thank you
me to
Thank you so
revise
much.
my
Maraming
letter.
salamat sa iyo.
I
Thank
was
you sa
told
suporta sa ating
not to
channel.
implicate ACQ
Maganda
and
ate,
to
good
state
morning. Ito
that
wala
I
namang
was the sole
kakwenta-kwenta
sinner
sinasabi nito.
and I
Ano na
was
to, matanda na
filthy.
ito.
Upon realizing how angry ACQ was, I
Puro
revised
lang
my
ito
letter
drama
out
eh.
of fear and
Diyos
stated that
mio.
I had sinned
Sino maniniwala
because
sa
I
iyo?
truly
Ang
was
tanong dyan, may
filthy.
mga ebidensya
In
ka ba?
detail, I imagined sins.
Ms. Teresita, yung paulit-ulit yung binabanggit na ICC, sino po yun?
Ingrid Chavez Canada po.
Sila pa rin po.
Ito tanong lang may mga dokumento ba siya na magpapatunay ng mga aligasyon niya? Tanong lang. Kasi kung lahat yan sinasabi niya lang, naranasan niya, wala naman siya katibayan, wala. Di ba? Sus Mariosep naman, oo.
My exaggerated story was then distributed to all his leaders and ministers, and they believed I was filthy, I was pervert, and I was wicked, painting me as the sole guilty party.
Guys, Spencer, good
while
morning
ACQ remained innocent. Little did I know this confession would lead to my condemnation within the ministry.
And Ms. Teresita, pag sinasabi nyo ACQ, sino po yun?
Apollo Carrion Quiboloy po.
Alright.
October 15, 1998, I was sent back here to receive a punishment through prayer and fasting in the guise of spiritual discipline. And the fasting they planned for me was beyond my imagination. It took me
Tingnan mo sa
7
pastor,
months to
nakatingin lang
suffer
sa kanya, hindi
hunger and
kumukurap, tinitignan
isolation
lang siya,
in the mountain of Tamayong
Baliktad
in
nga, eh.
Bugnan, Davao City.
Yung
They placed me in
nag-aakusa,
a small, dark,
hindi
elevated room
tumitingin, si
beside a
pastor
kitchen,
tinititigan lang siya, hindi
separated only by a
'di ba
massive
baliktad?
walls. My bed was rough,
Kasi kung
made of uneven
inaakasuhan ka
slabs,
ng ganyan, hindi ka
with
titingin, eh.
exposed nails pressing into my back
Oh, ayun,
as I
oh,
slept.
pastor
I
nakatingin
woke
lang sa
up each
kanya,
morning
oh.
in pain,
Hindi
with
kumukurap,
no
oh.
bleedings, and the cold
Hmm,
October nights left me shivering. I
'di
requested
ba?
a blanket and a mat, but I was denied. Every day from 8 to 5 p.m., I followed a strict routine, regardless of the weather, enduring hunger and isolation. No one allowed near me, as I was labeled filthy and deserving of this punishment. Members were forbidden to speak to me. I was physically very weak and so depressed. I prayed that God would just take my life. Ilang
Kailangan
beses ko
tanungin niyo yun,
pinalamasan na
English
sana
din,
tiningan ako ng
Hindi
Panginoon.
pupuwedeng tanungin niyo ng Tagalog yan.
I started to question God
English ang
and
affidavit niyan.
wondered if this was truly a divine process or simply human punishment.
Oo, nasa korte na
I
nga,
asked myself,
makapal ang mukha nito ni
is this
ni
Ezekiel's
Risa,
way of
Ate
retaliating
Leni
because I
Fermin,
rejected the life He imposed on me? It felt like vengeance and disguised as spiritual discipline. My only solace came from reading the Word of God from Genesis to Revelation over and over again. Every day was a struggle of faith. I struggled to believe that the process was still the perfect will of God for me.
Iyak mo na yan, putang na pigil pa, eh.
I struggled to believe that I really was a sinner and that I was recuperating from my spiritual disease for the lack of faith. That was to justify my present pains and to at least lighten my burden of loneliness. On January 8, 1999,
Iiyak na yan.
I gave
Iiyak
ACQ
na
a
yan.
resignation letter and I requested for a fare so that I can travel back to my home in my province. He did not approve my resignation letter. I pleaded to Ingrid, and like a child, I cried for help. But she remained untouched, telling me that it was a divine process. After that conversation, misery doubled. I had no money, and I was still physically weak. So there was no way for me to go out from the compound
Physically
to the
weak.
prayer mountain. Waiting for the restoration is the only alternative at the moment. If not for the comforting words of God, surely I would be totally gone out of my mind. They continually accused me of sins they alone knew and imagined that would always lead me into fasting.
Hmm?
It eventually hardened my heart because I started to realize that the purpose of doing it was to totally break me down and to even slowly kill me.
Oh, luha. Luha, ipatak mo na.
I no longer saw the reason to stay. I submitted my
Ate
resignation
Gina
as a
Estibor,
full-time
thank you,
volunteer worker
ha.
for the second
Maraming
time.
salamat, ha. Thank you, maraming salamat po.
But Apollo Carrion Quiboloy refused it again. A week later, on September 30, 1999, I decided to leave without asking for permission, determined to free myself from his control. It was only when I left out of the group, that I finally clearly understood that the man I had believed to be God's chosen and holy was an impostor,
Ayaw lumabas ng luha, no?
oppressor, and deceiver. He manipulated me using his authority and power as God's anointed. I thank God that He took me out from his bondage, from that ambiguous feeling of fear mingled with
Sana
so much
nilagay niya
love
ng Vicks yung
and
ano niya,
loyalty
yung
to my
panyo niya,
Redeemer, Jesus Christ.
Para maanghangan yung mata, para lumuha. Oh, lagay mo ng panyo
But
yung
he was
tissue
not
mo.
finished with me and did not stop terrorizing me. Alex Camia His personal bodyguard,
Imagine ni
a
Risa,
postal
sana all.
worker, once known to be a champion in gun shooting before
Ayun
he
na
joined
pangalan
the
to,
group of
Jacqueline.
rescue. Together with his
Jacqueline, thank
team,
you ha, thank
kept
you.
coming to my place to harass me, serving a fake warrant of arrest to a minister who stayed in my house. This minister settled in my place after he was gunned down in Davao City but survived.
Hindi, ganyan
The
kami
team
nung
of Alex
nung
Camia was
estudyante kami,
apprehended,
pagka may
and when
stage, may
investigated,
kami sa
they had
stage,
several firearms in the car,
may drama.
similar plate numbers,
Yung
and the
panyo
mahigit sa
namin,
red plate. The
o yung
registered
daliri
owner of the
namin, may
car was a
Vicks
former
Tapos
Quiboloy.
pupunas namin kunyari sa mata namin,
Because of their failure to
hangan,
serve the warrant of
iiyak
arrest,
na kami.
they blamed me for hiding the minister and filed cases against me of obstructing justice and grave misconduct and an act unbecoming of a public official.
Garma na rin ito, sumisinga na rin.
After that incident, I heard that Alex Camia was the suspect of the murder of an ex-worker who was shot down inside his home, and this ex-worker did not survive. I was scared to death when I heard this news.
Ate Josepina
My
Goso,
option was
thank
to
you ha.
remain silent
Maraming salamat.
because
Thank you
killing
po sa
could have actually
suporta sa
happened
channel ni
when
Buster
Camia and his
TV.
group came
Thank you,
to my
thank you.
place. There was also an ex-worker, Elsa Bolivar, who was a senior citizen, a woman shot dead while she was in her garden in Tagum City. I was so hysterical when pictures of her bullet-ridden body were sent to me because she had just visited me in my place before it happened. Fear consumed me and I remained silent. 3 years ago, nagkausap po kami ni Alex Camia. Humingi po siya ng kapatawaran at nagsabi na siya ay nautusan lang po na kailangan din akong iligpit.
Naku,
Pinaniwala po
niligpitan
siya
na.
na ako
Na
ay
nangyayari,
may malaking
animal.
kasalanan
Nagbuhay ka pa.
at ako ay napakasamang babae. Nang tinanong ko kung ano ang aking kasalanan, sinabihan daw siya na tinukso ko raw si Apollo Cayon Quiboloy. Nakiapid daw ako sa mga ministro. Narinig naman po ninyo yung sa video. Nakipagtalik daw ako mismo doon sa workers' house at nagnakaw daw ako ng 3 million pesos. He even said in Bisaya, di ba nagtugot man ang Ginoo pagpatay sa dautan? Doesn't God permit the killing of the wicked? Doon ko lang naintindihan na kailangang i-declare ni Apollo Quiboloy sa lahat ng mga workers at members na ako'y makasalanan at napakasamang babae para magiging makatwiran ang lahat ng parusa na binigay sa akin at magiging makatwiran din kung bakit ako kailangang patayin. Apollo Quiboloy called me Jezebel,
Buhay ka pa
Madam
nga
Chair,
eh.
using his pulpit to broadcast how filthy and evil I was. This became a pattern. Kung may mga workers na may alam sa kanyang
Yung power ni
buhay,
Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, sinurrender niya muna sa sa korte.
sekretong buhay at aalis sa kanyang kingdom, sila ay akusahan ng napakaraming kasalanan. He would always exaggerate their weaknesses at ipaniwala sa mga workers at members na sila ay umalis dahil may mga marumi at mga napakatao. His followers only heard his side of the story, which was always filled with lies and twisted truths. The other side, our side, excuse me, was never heard and was never allowed to be heard. They only believed whatever he fed them and even defended him and attacked those who defied their leader without investigating the truthfulness of the circumstances. Nakita naman po siguro natin kung paano siniraan ng mga workers at defenders ni Apollo Quiboloy ang mga testigo dito. Mga napakasamang descriptions para lang ipahiya ang mga nagsalita ng kanilang mga karanasan sa loob ng kanilang kingdom. Mga salitang hindi nababagay sa mga tinatawag na mga citizen ng kingdom of Jesus Christ. Their intention is only to demoralize and warn others of the consequences of defiance.
JCD1 ha, thank you
Last August
sa
2021, during one of his television
pagpapamember.
programs,
Thank you.
he once again maligned me, broadcasting nationally and internationally that I was a fornicator and an immoral woman. we have just watched. Madam Chair, I would like to remind Mr. Quiboloy to remember the biblical stories
Naku,
about the lives of King Nebuchadnezzar, King Sennacherib, and King Herod. All of them fell into the hands of the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar, you know that, was separated from his people and lived like a beast and ate grass for 7 years. King Sennacherib died a tragic death, murdered by his own sons. King Herod was struck by the angel of God, died, and his body was eaten by worms. Their sin was that they replaced God with themselves, considering themselves as gods and blaspheming the one true God. This is all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
nasaan ang luwa?
po,
Nasaan ang luwa?
Ms. Teresita, sa testimonya mo.
Oh,
Bakit
drama,
kailangan
drama,
mong
drama.
iyakan para basahin sa amin?
Oh, drama.
Bago yung isa munang follow-up question ko sa inyo, gusto kong i-acknowledge yung presensya online ni Senator Cynthia Villar. Salamat, Senator Cynthia, sa pagdalo nyo. At ang Minority Leader, Senator Coco
Yan,
Pimentel. Salamat
abogado yan.
kayo sa
Pagkainan mo ka.
pagdalo. Kung walang opening statement si Senator Coco at si Senator Cynthia, bago yung interjection ni Majority Leader sa Department of Justice, isang mabilis na follow-up question sa ngayon, Ms. Teresita o Ms. Ging, Ate Ging, just for the record, guilty ba kayo dun sa mga krimen na inakusa sa inyo, yung pagnakaw ng 3 million pesos, yung pag-fornicate sa iba pang mga ministro? Guilty ba kayo sa mga iyon?
Of course not.
All right, salamat kaayo. Majority Leader, for your interjection with the
Thank you, Madam
DOJ.
Chair. Nothing to do with the previous testimony. Magpapaalam po kasi ako kasi magsasalita po ako sa Liga ng mga Barangay and the Minority Leader is already here to fill up some legal questions likewise. But Madam Chair, before I leave, gusto ko lang tanungin ang hindi ko kasi nakita kanina, dito pala ang Department of Justice relative to my previous questions answered by the DFA. This is speculative, academic, and purely legal. If, wherever, if an extradition request is lodged before the DFA, there is under the PD, which I cited before, a process which would necessitate the Department of Justice to file a petition. But that is another court. And that is another court which would constitute as the extradition court here in the Philippines. And if there is going to be an extradition hearing, the purpose is not to determine the guilt or innocence of the accused, but whether they would fall under the ambit of our extradition treaty. Is that correct? Who will answer? Attorney Torribillas or Attorney Quintana? Speculative lang ito. Ano lang to?
Senior State Counsel Quintana, I believe, Majority Leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Your Honor. As to the as to what will happen on, should the Department of Foreign Affairs later on receive a request for the extradition of Mr. Quiboloy and the present criminal cases are filed against him, the Philippines, as a requested state under the Philippines-US extradition treaty, has the option.
Ito lang sandali lang maputol ko lang. Ito extradition na pinag-uusapan nila. Di ba dapat may kaso si Quiboloy sa Amerika? Dapat yung Amerika ang magre-request ng extradition dito sa Pilipinas. Baliktad yata ang nangyari. Pilipinas ang nagre-request sa extradition sa Amerika para ipadala si Quiboloy. Ay, mga gago! Diba sira ulo tong mga to?
We can accept the request and file the case in a separate extradition case.
It will not be a criminal court.
No, Your Honor.
Ina
As
talaga,
you correctly
gago.
pointed out
Ano ba 'tong
earlier,
gobyerno na ito?
the extradition court is not there to determine the guilt or innocence of the subject of the request.
Thank you, attorney. But my second question is related to the first question and to the previous questions. The extradition shall not be granted under Article 4 when the person sought has been tried, convicted, or acquitted. Tama po ba yun? So pag may pending case na rito at mabilis yung proseso, conviction or acquittal, hindi na siya pwedeng i-extradite. Is that correct?
Your Honor, under Article 4, that may be a ground for refusal of the request for extradition, but that in that case, so Your Honor, ang ano po dun parang in effect parang double jeopardy. But in this instance po, there is no double jeopardy kasi po yung
Saying double jeopardy. One of the grounds for refusal would be when there has been a trial, conviction, or acquittal that's explicitly stated under Article 4 prior prosecution. Double jeopardy will not apply because of the concept of dual sovereignty. Am I correct?
yes, Your Honor.
So, ang tanong ko, mas makakabuti ba na mas mabilis ang trial sa Pasig, which would result in either conviction or acquittal, dahil hindi na pwedeng ma-extradite?
Sir, it's independent of the request for extradition. So regardless if the criminal cases are terminated, are expedited, it will not affect the extradition request.
Siguro, aralin niyo mabuti itong Section 1 ng Article 4. Parang very explicit naman ito. You still have time. Number 3 question, I learned that correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you're following this through news accounts, that the Department of Justice of the United States dismissed the charges against a certain Miss Dueñas. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, and this was just a few weeks ago.
Last week, Your Honor.
Last week.
October 7.
So, ang tanong ko rito, and this will probably be a lingering question, what would be the effect of the dismissal of the U.S. cases against, is Dueñas a miss or a male? Ano ba yan?
He.
Female? She? Female.
Female.
What would be the effect of the dismissal of the U.S. cases against Ms. Dueñas to the pending cases of Pastor Quiboloy in the Philippines, since some of the elements would be the same?
Your Honor, if I may defer to Prosecutor Torrevillas.
Torrevillas.
Deputy State Prosecutor Torrevillas, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Senator Tolentino. It will not affect the cases pending against Pastor Quiboloy, considering that Ms. Dueñas is not one of the accused in those cases.
One of the accused in cases pending before the Regional Trial Court here in Pasig or in the United States Department of Justice? Saan po? Saan jurisdiction?
Before the Regional Trial Court of Pasig and Quezon City, Mr. Senator.
So it won't affect.
Yes.
But there is an interrelationship between the elements involved in the U.S. cases and the Philippine cases. Tama po ba yan? And probably I'm not jumping the gun on what the defense counsels were doing. So walang effect. As I've said, this is just speculative.
It will not affect the cases pending before the Regional Trial Court of Quezon City and the Regional Trial Court of Pasig because Ms. Dueñas is not one of the accused, neither she one of the witnesses for the prosecution.
But some of the defendants in the case pending before the U.S. Department of Justice are likewise defendants, are accused here in the Philippines. And I understand there would be a second hearing come May 20 before the U.S. Department of Justice. Tama po ba yan?
I am not aware of that.
Okay. So paano naman kung yun na?
Sandali lang Edgar Agustin Jr. Buster, pwede ba pa-slow ng konti ng boss mo kasi nakakabingi ko minsan na bigla. Ako pa mag-a-adjust para sa'yo, Edgar Agustin. Kung gusto mo, lumipat ka ng ibang live, doon ka manood. Sus Mariosep ka.
My earlier statements that respect and dignity should permeate the entire proceedings today. And I hope that the dignity of the Senate through this committee will be enshrined, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataong ito at maraming salamat sa mga resource persons natin na dumalo. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Dagang salamat.
Maraming salamat din po, Majority Leader, and of course, the Chair and the whole committee ay nakikiisa dun sa patuloy na pagtaguyod ng respeto at dignidad ng Senado at ng Senado para sa lahat ng lumalahok dito sa ating mga pagdinig. So balikan po natin si Ms. Teresita, si Ate Ging, mga patuloy po na follow-up questions ko sa inyong testimonya kanina. So, batay po pa rin po dun sa testimonyang binasa nyo kanina. Anong taon nga po kayo sinimulang abusuhin ayon sa inyong testimony at alaala?
It was in October of 1993.
October of 1993. So, 31
Years ago.
31 years ago po.
Yes po.
Alright. Tapos ulitin ko lang po yung nabalitaan kong fasting o dry fast. So, hindi kayo pinakain, hindi kayo pinainom ng tubig. Ilang
Wow.
araw nga po ba ginawa ito sa
Hindi
inyo? Wala po bang
pinakain,
kasamahan
hindi
ninyo
pinainom
doon na
ng tubig.
sinubukang tulungan kayo?
Kalokohan naman
Of
yan.
course, nobody would ever dare help me because upon instruction na hindi nga ako and they did not even allow, they were not even allowed to talk to me, nor even to come near to me. So actually there were two sets of fasting given to me. One set was, there was 10 days fasting.
Gutom ka
There was
na.
no food, no water. It was ninit ukyas.
Uhaw
again
ka
to
na.
the
Nasa
list of
sayo na yan. Kung
instruction. And
kakain
number
ka,
one in that list
uiinom
is
ka. Ano ka
to
ba
do dry
naman?
fast for the straight 10 days.
Sino po nagbigay ng instruction?
Ninit ukyas.
Nenet Okyas.
Yeah.
Okay po.
And then I only was able to eat a little amount of rice and viand on the 39th day because when you had fasted, hindi naman kailangan kakain ka agad. So there was water, then then lugaw, and then finally on the 39th day, that was the time I was able to eat rice. And then after that, there was that second round of fasting, which was even more miserable. It started on February 6,
Ba't ka
1999,
sumunod?
and
Ba't
there
ka
were other workers
sumunod sa
also.
fasting?
And that was very miserable because it was like this. We were given 5 days or sometimes 7 days. It was a kind of a series of fasting. The first, second, third days were for dry fasting, meaning you were not allowed to drink, of course, to eat food, dry foods. And on the fourth, sometimes it's water, sometimes it's sometimes it's lugaw. Then another 5 days, the same pattern. Sometimes it became 7. It ended on the it ended on the month of May because I have my diary on that.
So yung pangalawang dry fasting, 3 buwan.
Ito
Na may
naman si
iba't
Risa
ibang
Ontiveros,
klaseng
pati
for 5 days
fasting.
or 7 days.
Nasa
1
sa
to 3
kanila yan,
days na
sumunod
dry
sila sa
fasting.
sinasabi na
On the fourth day,
fasting.
may tubig o yung yung pinakuluan ng sinaing, di ba? Yung pinapainom ng mga lolo't lola natin sa mga baby nung panahon ng World War II.
Yung sabaw ng ano po.
Sabaw.
lugaw.
Sabaw ng lugaw.
Yes po.
Or lugaw. So over 3 months, may ganitong series ng mga iba't ibang klase ng dry fasting.
Yes po. But I was together with other workers also because they were also punished that I was the longest. I stayed there for the longest 3 months.
And yung una pong dry fast, yung unang set ng pagpapa-dry fast sa inyo na 10 araw, walang pagkain, walang tubig. 10 araw na walang tubig at 10 araw na walang pagkain?
Yes po, that's true.
Paano niyo po na-survive yun?
I did not even think I would survive.
Opo.
Because of course, the place is cold.
Ate
So,
Connie Ferson,
and
good
then every
evening po
time
sa'yo
in the
ate
morning when
ah.
I
Mabuhay ka
took
ah.
a bath,
Oo.
so parang doon ko na lang nalalasap yung tubig.
Ito sa ano lang tignan mo yung mga tanong niya, stupid question. Makakagawa ka ba ng batas na ganyan? Yun ang paniniwala ng kanilang yun ang doktrina ng kanilang religion. Kaya nga may separation of church and state. Tapos gagawa ka ng batas para doon sa church? Anong kinalaman ng tinatawag ng inquiry? Senate inquiry in aid of legislation. Ano kinalaman niya sa pagpapasting, sa pag hindi nila pagkain, sa ayun ang paniniwala nila Ayun ang doktrina nila sa kanilang relihiyon Pakikialaman mo yon? Puta. Anong batas? Gagawa ka ng batas para sa simbahan bawal mag-fasting? Gago ka! Sira ulo rin to Tanga mo, Hontiveros In aid of legislation nga yung hearing mo, di ba?
I had to pray, I think 3 times a day. 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 4 times a day. 4 and then 6 o'clock in the evening.
And kanina sabi nyo dun sa pangalawang set ng dry fasting sa inyo, over 3 months, may ibang workers pa kayong kasama, bagamat hindi sila kasing tagal na pinadry fast tulad ninyo. Bukod dyan sa pagpapadry fast, yung ganyang abuso sa inyo, meron ka bang na-witness na iba pang mga pang-aabuso sa iba pang workers?
Yes po. Actually, there were workers who were placed in a closed tent. Parang Bartolina, ang tawag namin doon Bartolina. They were placed in a closed tent. There were even torches placed around because during the evening they would put fire on
You
the
remember
torches.
remember
And then they put and peed inside the tent, closed tent.
Remember Senate inquiry in aid of legislation ito. Senate inquiry in aid of legislation. Hindi ka naman pwede gumawa ng batas sa Hontiveros na susundin ng mga relihiyon. Ano kinalaman ng pagpapasting nila doon sa gagawin mong batas?
As their security guards, they were actually helped by the ministers to just escape.
So may mga minister din naman na naawa sa kanila at
Meron din po.
tinulungan silang makatakas.
Yes po.
Okay. Tapos, Ms. Teresita Atiging, tama po ba na naging subject kayo ng attempted assassination? Ito po ba yung sinabing ginawa ng angel of death?
Of course, I would really think that way because I was just a mere worker, a civilian, and then why would these people come to my place, bring those firearms? They were there, and if it was only to serve the warrant of arrest for my co-ministers, why would they have a backup car? And I was made to believe that it was really their intention to harass me and to terrorize me in my place.
May dala po silang warrant of arrest? Saan
Yes.
galing po yung warrant na yun?
As I have stated, there was actually one minister who had a problem, no? Then he was gunned down in Davao City. Then I actually helped him settle in my place. And then
Ito po yung
He was-
nag-survive ng assassination attempt.
survived. Then he was served by that warrant of arrest. And then, because he was in my house, I helped him actually.
So nung pumunta yung mga may dalang firearms at may backup vehicle, yung sineserve nilang warrant ay para dun sa nag-survive sa assassination attempt na kinupkup nyo.
Yes po, actually para sa kanya. But I was made to believe that ako rin, pwede rin nila akong patayin. Bakit? Because there was one time, there was, because that Alex Camia was with a policeman. Bakit kailangan nila akong parang i-scale sale nila yung opisina ko? Bakit parang tinitingnan nila kung nasaan ako doon? Kung ang gusto lang talaga, if they really wanted the warrant of arrest to be served with that person, why came to my office? For what? So
Yung Alex Camia ay may kasamang pulis o siya mismo ay pulis o PNP?
no, he was with a
Yes,
policeman,
with-
an official policeman during that time. At saka meron din po siyang kasamang siyempre driver. At saka, because I only learned later that there were 2 vehicles actually, but during those times, isa lang ang alam ko. Nung nakausap ko yung backup driver, kasi he is with me now, doon ko lang nalaman na may backup driver, may backup vehicle pala sila.
Ngayon, Ms. Teresita at Tiging, pioneering member po kayo ng
Yes.
KOJC. Alam nyo rin po ba yung business model ng fundraising ninyo at paano ito nagsimula? Sinabanggit nyo, naging head kayo ng logistics, kayo po nag-organize ng mga caroling, yung mga solicitation. Paano po yun nagsimula at anong alam niyo dun sa kabuuang business model?
Yes po, the caroling really had become, or maybe has even until now become, one of the sources of funds in the ministry. In 1988, I was able to join here in Manila, and we were only caroling the cities within the cities of the NCR. But when I was given the opportunity to lead the fundraising, I made it nationwide. I actually organized the nationwide caroling, Madam Chair. Then what happened? I had every province. I had leaders overseeing 70 to 100 carolers, including adults who would be cooking and washing their clothes. And in the NCR alone, we had, I think, 13 leaders overseeing 20 to 30 members also, do caroling from 8 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 10 o'clock in the evening, going around the cities of Manila, just caroling, all the people here in the Metro Manila. Then, because I had a quota of, it started with 10 million until it became 15 million. Of course, they also had a quota. I also gave them the quota to meet my total quota of 15 million.
So, sa bawat probinsya, nung ginawa nyo ng nationwide yung caroling, di na lang sa NCR, may isa kayong leader na bawat isa may 17 to 100 carolers. At dito naman sa NCR, kung saan kayo nagsimula, naging 13 leaders na may 20 to 30 members each. So, i-multiply lang po natin. So, sila po yung pinapatawan nyo noon ng quota para mabuo yung 10 to 15 million pesos. Ano po ito? Per day? Per week?
No, that's 1 month of
15 per
caroling.
month.
Yep, yes.
Per month. And so 14 hours a day sila pwedeng nagka-carol, nag-fundraise 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes po.
Ganun po katagal. Alright. Dagang salamat, Ms. Teresita at Tiging. Please stay on sa hearing natin dahil yung mga kasama kong senador, mga kauban ko, including our minority leader, may have questions for you. Yes, the minority leader would like to interject now.
Napapabuntong
You have the
hininga
floor,
pa
Senator
talaga
Ko.
eh. No? Napapabuntong
Ma'am
hininga
Gingo,
eh.
so, dito lang ako nababahala sa sinabi mo na dry fasting,
Yes
2
po.
times ang experiences mo. And sa experience mo, it was a form of punishment.
Very much a form of punishment. But it was actually a disguise like a spiritual discipline on me.
Okay,
Because
pero it was presented still as a disciplinary measure.
Yes po.
But have you seen dry fasting as a form of a ritual or not as a form of a punishment? Is it also practiced there?
Actually, there were 2 meanings, no? Of course, when we were instructed to do dry fasting, we would always consider it as our sanctification, as our cleansing on us, because we would always believe that we were, because
Yun
we
naman pala
were
eh.
always made to believe that we were sinners, and we do accept that we were sinners, So we had to go through fasting.
In the two particular, sa mention mo kasi dalawa, ang particular
po.
cases, hindi ko na matandaan yung mga months. Pero in your particular case, punishment.
At first, I did not consider it as punishment.
No, wag you consider. How was it presented to you? You have to undergo dry fasting as a punishment?
Spiritual discipline on the first,
Oh.
talaga spiritual discipline.
Kung andun yung discipline, punishment. Di ba? Okay. Yung
Yes.
pangalawa,
Yes po.
yung pangalawa, was it what? A punishment also, yung pangalawa?
Mas lalong punishment on the second round. Maybe
Okay.
because they saw me alive still kicking. It was not their intention to really see me alive.
Okay.
That's why I had my second series of fasting.
But sa observation mo, tagal ka dyan sa kingdom meron, you also undergo fasting as a part of a ritual, not as a punishment. Tama?
Yes, there were many times.
As severe as dry fasting?
No, mine was actually was the worst.
Yun yung mga fasting na alam natin, yung babawasan
Yes,
mo lang yung
yes, po.
quantity ng kakainin mo, siguro ganun, ano?
Yes,
Yun ba yung meaning ng, yun yung sa ritual?
yes,
Okay.
ritual.
Ngayon sa karanasan mo, ikaw kasi obviously nag-survive ka nung dry fasting mo as punishment eh. Sa personal knowledge mo, meron kayong kasama sa KOJC na nag-suffer ng masamang consequence as a result of dry fasting as a form of punishment?
Wala naman akong
Wala kang
alam
alam.
because I left 1993.
1999, you
pa
left
po.
1993?
Wala pa.
When did you leave?
1999 pa po.
1999. Sige po. Pero sabi mo, founding member ka, so, pero wala kayong nakita pala. Okay.
So far, wala.
Kasi sana, kung meron, encourage natin sila ngayon na magreklamo sila because this might be a violation of the revised penal code. How is it enforced pala? How is it enforced? Sabi mo kasi sa Prayer Mountain, you're free to roam around eh. Pwede kang gumalaw. So paano kung super gutom ka na? Can you cheat? Can you cheat on the dry fasting
Pwede naman.
punishment?
We were tempted to do that, but
Mm.
because we were so afraid, baka dagdagan pa yung araw pag malaman.
Okay, meron kang kinikwento na although hindi ikaw yung involved, sabi mo lang na may close tent, may mga ganon. Tapos may mga ministro na sila na mismo nagpatakas doon sa mga pinapunish, no? So naawa na rin siguro sila na
Good job, good job kay Senator Risa. Kitang-kita yung kababuhan niya.
Experience natin, kaya medyo ano yan.
Good job, Senator Risa.
Yes, sir.
Kitang-kita yung kababuhan mo.
And did the ministers actually tell you na pinatakas namin ito si...
No, I was just told after those incidents when they got connected to me.
So kasi ang lumalabas na issue dito, Madam Chair, is if there is a religious group or an organized group na meron silang system of punishment, baka yung mga severity naman ng mga punishment, baka some of these punishments already cross the line, ano? Na they may amount to already violation of the revised penal code. Sige. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you also.
Good job, good job daw kay
Leader.
Senator Risa Ontiveros ha. Oo,
So,
kitang-kita
Mr.
yung katangahan niya, ha?
Escrita,
Kitang-kita
Ate
dyan, ha.
Again, salamat kaayo and please stay on for the rest of our hearing, lalo na kung may ibang mga issues na ma-raise na gusto rin naming itanong sa inyo. At this point po, our next witness is Yulia Tartova, a former pastoral and victim survivor of sexual abuse at the hands of Apollo Quiboloy. She's joining our hearing live from Ukraine. Just to refresh our memory, let's listen to Yulia's video. And after that, she is here to answer any other questions that we might have. So let's just view again Yulia's video at that time as Elias Sofia.
I was about 21 years old. It was 2014. And where did you stay? I stay in a dorm, like a building, separate building. And most of the people there was Ukrainian. Tell me how your relationship with Pastor Quiboloy developed or unfolded. At first, our relationship was very good, very warm, very friendly. I didn't feel everything like, oh, he's like me, there's nothing about that. He transferred me in one room. I live with the Jack Roy. she's pastoral and one of the closest, like she's very close to pastor. And I live with her in one room. And little by little, some girls like Jack Roy and other girls of pastorals are Filipino. They used to fellowship to me like, are you ready to sacrifice everything to God, to the Father? Like pastor, of course I already sacrificed. I leave my job, I leave my school, I leave my friends and my parents. I already sacrificed a lot of. So what do you mean? I cannot understand, because I already sacrificed, and it's the life that I choose and I live, and I believe that this is God's way for me. So, and they were just like, even your body you can sacrifice. When he see that there is no Ukrainian girls and I'm alone, so he start more and more to talk to me. Are you want to sacrifice? Are you want to sacrifice everything, even your body? I'm very innocent. I really didn't. Nobody talked to me like straightly that this is what will happen. And I remember that time came, and Atejak came to me in the night, and she said, I want you to massage pastor's feet before he sleep. When Atejak called me for night to massage him, I didn't think that this is what will happen, even though I was nervous. And she saw that I'm crying, but I'm still do what they want me to do. I wake up, I put this pajama and I'm crying, I'm scaring, and it's night, and they put me, because I never stay in the pastor alone in the night, in the dark, and I was nervous. It was big room, and before room there is a little room. So Atejak lead me there, and she said, go in pastor's room. And I just stayed in this little room because I was scary and I was crying, and pastor was waiting for me till he realized that I'm not coming, and he by myself went out and pulled me in his room. And I was like scary, and he said like, massage my feet here, 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 and then little by little, and I was very nervous, and it was dark, and suddenly he started to move my hands to put on his. He said massage here, and I said, oh my god, okay, and I massaged. And after that, little by little, he just turned to me and he removed my clothes. And I even can, because I was very shocked. I was like, I cannot explain, because I was nervous. If this is what happened, he just removed my clothes and have.
Women below the age of 18 years old, were they also being used?
Yeah, I didn't know about this for how many years till before I left Philippines. I heard from other, like, she's very close to pastor. She grew up with him. She's a senior there, and she's pastoral. And I heard that, oh, you're crying, because I was complaining about this pastor's ministry. And she said, oh, you're crying that you're pastoral. At least you're mature, but I become a pastoral in 12 years old. This is time when I was like shocked. The next day when I heard this, that become a pastoral and 12 years old, I started to fight with pastor and ask why. Is it normal?
Miss Yulia? Miss Yulia, I think your audio is still muted. Could you please unmute?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Miss Yulia. Thank you for joining us in the hearing.
Thank you.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Yulia. Before some of my follow-up questions about your the previous video, and also with your presence with us today, could I just quickly ask, in the video you mentioned Jack Roy. Can you confirm if she is here today in the hearing? If she is to the right or to the left of Pastor?
I cannot hear.
You cannot see?
Video. Yeah, but she's present there. I saw her.
She's present. Is she to the right or to the left of Pastor?
I don't remember. I have to check.
You cannot see the video of the
Yeah,
here.
she's, yeah.
Can you confirm where where if Jack Roy is
Right
here?
between Attain Grid and Ipoh.
So is she the one on camera right now with glasses?
Yes, yes, she's the one.
So that's the Jack Roy you mentioned in your previous video.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yulia. How many Ukrainian pastorals did Quiboloy have when you were there?
It's about 10, I think.
10. All right, including yourself. So 10. You and about nine
Yeah,
others.
about 10. Yeah, not if I will count. Yeah, it's about 10.
About 10. All right. And what do you think would happen if you refuse to have sex with Apollo Quiboloy? What do you think would happen?
Actually, we try to avoid this kind of service, but because when you believe that he is the Son of God, and you will do whatever he wants us to do. And if you afraid, like if you will try to, excuse me, I didn't practice my English for a very long time.
It's all right.
If you will try to deny, they will punish you. And there is a lot of really psychological instrument that they will use on you, that even one day will not be enough to mention everything. They will punish and call us, scold us for a meeting and put us in shame, that saying that we are ungrateful because pastor give us everything and you just don't want to give, sacrifice your body like Jesus Christ sacrificed. And of course they always will use the Bible as an instrument to convince us to do it. And they always in the same time they want us to feel, to twist our mind to feel that this kind of service, it's a very big privilege. So we will be willing to do it with our will. So he will say that there, because nobody can deny that there is a pastoral ministry, even Mr. Quiboloy himself. And everybody knows that only girls and young and beautiful women are included there. And everybody knows, nobody can deny, even the full-time workers, that we all live separate from any others, under the same roof. Our rooms are next to him, so he have free access to every room, to to each room, and nobody can nobody know his life behind the door. That's why there's no full-time workers that know what is happening there. So when you try to, like for example, there was several times that I tried to deny this ministry of sleeping with him, because we have a schedule, like, and he will be the one to put the schedule. Who will be the one tonight? And Jack Roy, in my time, it was her ministry to invite girls to pastor's room. And actually to invite the girls to this ministry, to pull them in his room. And
Miss Yulia, you told us something very important. You said that nobody can deny that there was such a thing as a pastoral ministry. You told us that twice. And you said that if you refused to give those kinds of service, that sexual service, as you tried to do several times, that you would be punished, including
Yeah,
through psychological instruments. Yes, you
yeah,
said that they
yeah.
they could try to twist your mind. Uh, what kind of psychological punishments and what other kinds of punishments did they impose on you if you try to deny this kind of sexual service?
Like as I said, there was a schedule, and there was one time I tried to deny because uh, one day he said that I will change my rule, so I will not be the one to call you. Who will be the one tonight to present yourself to me? But I want you to be voluntarily to come to the judge and to put yourself in the list. And me and some other Ukrainian girls whom I know, we like said we never go and put our names in the schedule. And then because he said, Mr. Quiboloy said that I want to see those who are really doing that willingly and who is not. And me and some other girls have a separate room in pastoral ministry. And after he wait 1 week, 2 weeks, or about 1 month, I don't remember exactly, but there is such a time that nobody from us asked to do this ministry. And then he started to come by himself. Like, for example, he had the key of each room, and just in the middle of the night, he come to my room and have sex with me. Then and you cannot run away. You cannot say I don't want, because if you say I don't want, he said you didn't overcome your flesh, and if you will not obey, you will go to hell, like things like that. And other night, I like we have all dinner together, and I feel that by the way he look at me, I understand that this night he might come. So I didn't sleep in my room. I go in other room, and in the middle of the night, he was looking for me, and he find me in girls in the room. The girls live all together. So because in my mind, I thought that he will not come if we are many, but he come and he said, "You have 5 minutes to come back in your room. And if you will not come, you will have a problem in the morning." So different kind of instrument they used. I know there's like, for example, other girls who said that, and also me, I use this as an instrument. Like, for example, it's the time to serve, and I will say I cannot do it because I have menstruation. And because we are mature, they didn't do these cruel things that they have done to the girls that they're younger. So Atjak came to the girls and said, "I want to check your panty, if there is napkin or not." And the girls just remove their pants to prove that they're not lying. So of course he know that we are not willing that to do it, and we are forcing that to do it, and we don't want to do it. But he likes the most girls he like. It's those who try to deny, because he said, "I want you to overcome your flesh. I want you to be on the next spiritual level when flesh are nothing to you." Like, for example.
And after all, you said that Pastor had free access to the rooms. He even had keys to the rooms. So about the schedule that you mentioned, Miss Yulia, do you mean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It was a young girl or a young and beautiful woman. No rest day. Every day there was somebody scheduled.
Yeah, for every night he never stay alone. And all the girls that were living in pastoral area, they like they have this kind of ministry. Someone have just several times to experience that, and some have to do it like all the time, like almost every week.
And you also mentioned another important thing earlier, Miss Yulia, that nobody, even some of the full-time workers, nobody knows pastor's life behind those doors, behind the doors of the pastorals. You also mentioned Jack or Jacqueline Roy as your groomer. How did she groom you?
At first, it's a long story because in order to do it, it's not a very quick way. So I will try to make it short.
Yes,
Like
please.
when I was in transferred to a pastoral area and I started to live with Atejak, I was very new. I even didn't know English, any word of English, and he was very in hurry to pull me in pastoral to pastoral ministry. And there was one time at the jug it was night, and she called me and she said like he wants to talk to you. And I came to his room and he had Russian Bible. He opened Russian Bible and because he cannot talk to me in English. And he said, I want you to read this verse in Russian. So I opened this Bible and there was a verse, I don't know how to say it in English, translated in English. It's about, there's a scripture about to sacrifice your body. And he was trying to ask me, are you ready to sacrifice like your body? And he put his finger on the bed because we were sitting on the chair before the bed. And he showing to the bed and he started to pull me. And then I was, because I was very new and everything that I know about him was good. And I get scared, I get shocked because like in my mind, this is really what he mean by pulling me to the bed. And I ran away from the room and there's a garage in front of Bible school. But in that time there was Sampayan, a big place with a lot of stuff. And I ran away because where I can go, I'm in other country, where I will go. So I ran away and I hide myself there. And I was just crying because I was thinking how to go home. I get a problem and who can help me to go out of this. And then when it's already morning, of course, I have to appear where I cannot stay there forever. And when I come back to the room, Atejak was very mad to me. And they said that you run away from him, you don't have any respect to the Son of God. And they like start to let me feel that I'm guilty. And then I guess they realized that it's too early for me. I'm not ready yet. I'm not still not brainwashed that I can do it. So they explained that. They called me again and they said, "You don't worry. This is you because they saw my reaction. They know that they cannot do it. I will just go away." And they said, "You don't worry. You help me this word.
Misunderstood?
Yeah, you misunderstood.
Ah.
He just want to try your faith, to know if your motive of coming here are really real." And they again use the verse of the Bible when Abraham sacrificed his son. And he said it was just like what he used to you. And this example. And
Miss Yulia,
it comforted me, and I said, oh, okay, because and then I again start to think good about him. Then the next level, we have a dinner, like few maybe weeks, again the next level, we have a dinner, and I have trauma in my back, and I was just talking like I have pain in my back. And Mr. Quiboloy, he put a joke, as I thought in that time. He said, "Don't worry, I have a healing hand. I will do massage for you, and you will be healed." And I was just laughing or laugh because we thought it's a joke. But when the night came, in the middle of the night, Atachak came with pastor to my room, and I was just sleeping. And he said, you said you have back pain? He want to massage you." And I said, no, I'm okay. I was just joking. He said, "Don't worry, just trust, because it's a big privilege if he will pray on you." And I said, okay. And I just lay down. She turned off the light, and she go out from the room. And then Mr. Quiboloy came, and he started to massage my back. And of course, I didn't feel comfortable, but I also cannot escape. And after that, he started to move his hands lower to my back. And I get scared. I said, "No, I don't have pain there. Please don't do it." And he said, just relax, like things like that. And again, I ran away from the room. Again, I hide. Then the next morning, they spoke me again. Like, he wanted to pray on you. He wanted to heal you, and you just go away. So little by little, really, I cannot mention all, but I want you to get the point.
Miss Yulia,
That, there is a lot of trick that they were using.
Miss Yulia and colleagues, the minority leader has to leave. Salamat kaayo, Senator Coco, for attending. Miss Yulia, before my last follow-up question to you at this point, I'd just like to quickly ask Miss Jacqueline Roy. Miss Roy, quickly lang po at this point, narinig nyo yung mga sinabi ni Miss Yulia. Do you confirm what she said? Inaamin nyo ba yung mga sinasabi niya na kayo daw ang nag-groom sa kanya para kay Pastor?
Good afternoon po, Senator. I want to invoke my right to remain silent. And I'm also invoking my right against self-incrimination since nasa korte na po ito. Salamat po.
Alright, babalikan na lang po namin kayo para sa ilan pang mga tanong mamaya. Miss Yulia, just for a last question from me at this point. Miss Yulia, you sent us a copy of an audio file that came into your possession. Now, noting that the Philippines Republic Act number 9208 as amended grants immunity from liability to a victim of human trafficking who transmits a recording involving a violation of that law, and noting further that this audio file had been also circulating already on the internet, the committee will play this audio file now. So please stay with us, Miss Yulia, while we play the audio file.
I was about
Ang makagamit sa inyo ang anak lang. Wala lain, maunay kabubuto niya. Ikaw, pani, may number 1 niya. Pag gilapas ni mo, imo gilapastangan ang balaod. At yun kang ulay ko kaluoy, pinagi sa duha o tulo ka saksi. Nabingwit na satanas doon. Gapakita sila sa inyo sa internet, malipayon sila, no? Ganong gapakita pa man sila diyan, malipayon sila. Kaya di sila malipayon. Kato sila, kukuro na ko to. Abilag, tapos na po sa ila. Pabayaron ko sila tanan. Kay naiutang sila sa ministry nako, naiutang sila sa kingdom. Bubayad to sila madali, madugay. It will take 5 years, it will take 10 years. It does not matter. Basta nakatutok sa ilang angel of death. When the opportunity presents itself, patay sila. Pila nakapastoral na naigo nga tapad sa kuha. Iya pa ninyo. Di man niya ko mapasakitan, membro-membro lang. Pagka nakik-contact ng lalaki diha, nakik-sex ka na sa iya. Yatag mo na yung kaugalingon sa iya. Pag sa internet, I love you ka na, yatag mo na yung kaugalingon sa iya. Dato ko, nagsali ko sa imo, yatag na kung gugman ako sa imo, gitraidor ko nimo. Driver, gitraidor ko nimo. Kung sa'yo akong buhaton. Dato ko, para mabawi akong tungo kung sa'yo akong buhaton. Ikaw ugang driver, patyon ta ka. Siguraduhin na ako mamatay ng duha. Dito pa ako makabawi sa akong tungo. Mabita ang Muslim, doon ay honor killing. Dili na mo katalikod ang ministry. Pwede mo mga matay. Pero yung pagtuo, pwede mo matalikod. Ginana kay gusto ninyo matalikod. Sulod daw mo NPA be. Bisang kadre ka lang, sulod ka NPA. Pagka naka-lecture na kagkapila sa ilaha, di ka nakagawas. Pag digawas ka, bukulong ka, patyon ka. Sulod mong mafia, sulod mong gobyerno sa Amerika. Pag ipasulod ka diya sa ilang CIA, ipasulod ka sa ilang FBI, ipasulod ka sa ilang NSA, nakabalo na ka sa ubang mga confidential niya. Tapos kalit-kalit mo talikod ka, di ka gukurot. Inani ang commitment na ako sa inyo. Wala na'y makatalikod sa inyo. Wala na'y makatalikod sa inyo. Wala na'y pwede mo traidor sa inyo. Pag nag-traidor mo, na'y magukod sa inyo. Patay mo dito. Kapahamakan ang inyong giyantuan. I-implement ko natin na. Anong unahunaan ninyo na ba? Pakalaluman ninyo ang pangunahunaan ninyo sa ministry na ako. May pamilya mo. Ikaw pa ni, may inahan ka rin, may suon ka. Katuloy suon ni mo. Pag tinay, mo isuon sa gawas. Kung doon natin na, wala ibili na na. Hinanakalalo ang commitment nato diri. Pero nagkik-communicate mong lalaki, pagkatapos mag-report mo sa kuwa diri. Samtang niya mo sa akong balay, ang gusto na ako diri, may tumanon. Dili mo pwedeng mutuman diri sa gusto ninyo, madili na ako gusto. Kapuyon kung magyod ang animal, anak putang satanas diri ba? May ibog ko ng mga Moros, ng mga Muslim. Na yung mga babae sila magpa-prostitute sa ilang mga warriors. Kasi para mawala ang stress. Ina na po ang iyong weakness sa lalaki. Ilabay ninyo na kaya di na nakabubutol sa mahan. Kaya gihin mo na mong pastoral para sa anak lang mo.
Miss Yulia, before my questions to you about this audio file, Mr. Quiboloy, huwag kayong mag-alala. Magkakaroon din kayo ng oportunidad na magresponde. Didigin lang natin mga kasama lahat ng mga victim survivors testimonies muna. At bahagi din po ito ng karapatan nyo marinig yung mga akusasyon laban sa inyo bago kayo magresponde. Yulia, is this the file? Is this the audio file that came into your possession?
Yes.
Yes. Do you recognize the voice speaking in the audio file?
Yes.
Whose voice is that?
This is the voice of Mr. Quiboloy.
Okay. And well, I know that you don't understand Bisaya so well, but do you have a sense of what he was saying in this audio file?
Yeah, because I experienced like the girl that he is talking about.
Mm-hmm. Only if you know, is Pane Stephanie
Yeah.
Ibarra?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
Who is Stephanie Ibarra?
Stephanie Ibarra. It's main senior in the kingdom, and she's main assistant of Mr. Quiboloy, like the one who like always guide him everywhere. Like, and he she also have access to his room the same as Mr. Quiboloy have access to her room. So
Okay. Was she also your groomer? Was she also your groomer, like you said
No.
Jacqueline Roy was? No.
No, she was not my groomer. No.
All right.
And why I know you asked me, can you repeat the question, please? How I get idea what he's talking about in
Yes.
this audio, even though I don't understand English, because I
Mm.
experience a lot of things in the ministry. And for example, the girls have some lapses there. For the world, it's a normal thing. Like, for example, they want to chat some boys or something. Like, it's not a crime. But according to the standard of and rule that were in the pastoral, it's a big crime that he will punish them. And I witnessed how Stephanie was several times, only in my time, she was trying to leave the ministry. And
Stephanie
every
Ibarra or Pane was trying to leave the ministry.
yeah, she was
All right.
trying to leave the ministry, and every time she tried, they very in brutal way, in very arrogant way, they will put her back to be always loyal to Mr. Quiboloy as his
How brutal and arrogant way?
Like, for example, there was one time she wanted to run away from the house of Manila. We stayed there, and before we have a concert there, and we stay in worker's house. And she wanted to run away. She jumped from the window together with her luggage. And
How
when
high
they
was
found
the
out,
window?
I don't know really.
But she jumped from a window to
Yeah,
escape.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She was trying to go out because she know that in her position in the kingdom, she cannot say that. Can you release me? I don't. I'm full. I'm fed up. I want to go out. She know it's not possible. And
Why wasn't it possible?
because like as I said, she is like his trophy, and he said like even to us, like if she will leave, how I will handle the other girls, because she's like she used her as example that must be loyal, that must be single, and he said that if I will let you to do it, it will be like like it will bad reputation on me, because
Why was she Quiboloy's trophy?
because this is her position in the kingdom. Because when you are in the pastoral ministry, the main goal is to become a leader, because most of the leaders in the kingdom are women. And he always said that all these girls must be a leader and must be single, because we sacrifice our life through the body of Quiboloy. And he didn't want to lose anyone, especially Stephanie, because
So especially Stephanie.
and because after they left, of course they have a lot, they cannot control them anymore, and they know that anytime they can say what happened them, what they have experienced inside, because while you are inside and you know all these things that going on there, like they're afraid that you, as long as you will go out, you will.
If she was
was not-
able to escape, if Quiboloy could not control Stephanie or Pane Ibarra anymore, what would happen? Miss Yulia? Yes.
I don't know, because to me, and to us, it's nothing will happen. She will just live her own life, good or bad. It's depend on our choice on the way how
Yes.
we work on life, because he always put the fear on us that if you will go out, you will become a prostitute. All the men will use you, and here only I using you, and you have this privilege. And he said, I will honor you, and in the world you will be dishonored, you will be lost, like to the you will be homeless. And this is what they are talking actually about us. Like for example, me, I came with a sincere heart to this ministry, and I didn't have any bad record inside the kingdom, except that I fight with Mr. Quiboloy about this pastoral ministry, because for me it was hard to adjust to this rule, because most of the girls in the pastoral, they came from a broken family or came from a very young age, that don't have example in life, that don't have a father, and especially when you are young and don't have experience in life, you can plant them the thinking that this is life is normal, it's good. And when you don't have experience about other life in the world, you will really be afraid to go out.
Miss
And you-
Yulia,
yeah.
yes, no, I know that you want to say something to Pastor directly. Here in the Senate, in the Philippines, we don't allow resource persons to talk to each other directly. You may only address the chair. So if you want to say something directly to Quiboloy, please address it through me. For the record, please say, Madam Chair, this is what I want to say to Quiboloy, so that we can hear you and we can put your message to him on record. So please
Okay.
proceed.
Madam Chair, this is what I want to say to Mr. Quiboloy. When I came to the Philippines, I trust my life to you. You promised that you will put honor, dignity on us, and we trust that this is what will happen. And all of this time in this ministry, I was very honest to you. And if there was something that I understand, I always come to you and ask why. Explain me. So from the very beginning to the end, I don't have any bad records. I didn't show myself as a girl, cheap girl, and I always try to be on that level that you try to put on us. But because of this pastoral ministry, for how many years you know that I was trying to learn this way. But I always argue with you because I have a good example in my life. I have a family, there is a wife, there is a husband. I came 24 years old, I'm mature, and it was very hard to broke my the way my view about what is the life, normal life, happiness must be. And I really try to broke myself to follow your rules in the kingdom. But you lead us in a very bad experience. For all these years, of course, I have a good experience and bad, and when everything is mixed up, it's very hard to analyze. When when you are on your emotional are like they will put you very high, they will put you very low, and you always on this wave. It's very hard to analyze the way you your true feelings, and they will think that the way you feel bad about this ministry, that this is immoral, but he tried to convince that this is the very high level. They made us doubt about our feelings, and I was there with the honest heart. And even before, like when what pulled me back from this ministry, because from this 6 years, as I said, I have a good and bad experience. And to the year of 2019, the bad experience was already more than a good, and I decided to leave. I made a letter through Aten Grid to pastor that I'm very thankful for all the experience that I have in the kingdom, because there is a lot of things that I love, like singing, worshiping, like young congregation. I love to serve God, but I'm going out because I have doubt about pastoral ministry. I cannot tolerate it anymore, and I don't feel that I can do it. And this was the time of COVID, and I was in Ukraine that time, serving here. And because it was COVID, I went from the KLC workers' house, I went to my parents' house, and I stayed there for how many months? Because we didn't know. And this is again my thinking renew. Again, I see my family, I see, and I start to, there is no one who will influence me again. And I came to life. But even though the bad experience that I have, I still go with a thankful heart. And what they do to me, because I still watching, even though I go out, I still watching the TWP program. And in his TWP program, I didn't do anything, but he said about me that if you will work as a prostitute the whole your life out of the kingdom, you cannot replace all these material things that I invest in you here. You compare me as a prostitute, and I'm here living like ordinary life. I have to, when I go out of the kingdom, I was almost 30 years old. Because of the kingdom, I was not able to finish my study. I was not able to build my own family. I was not able to have my career, so I can have something of my own. When you invest all your time, all your efforts, everything into the kingdom, and when you go out, you have nothing. And then in everything you do there, you do with a sincere heart. We never ask for payment. We never ask for salary. We go out from the empty hands, and still you are saying that we own you. Maybe this is you who own us, and you broke our reputation even. And he started to say very bad things about me, to destroy my reputation, because he know that if I will go out in the way, in case if I will say what is happening there, my reputation will be destroyed and nobody will believe. This is what he always destructive that he do.
Yes.
And the last thing
Thank you
that I
very
want to
much,
say,
Miss Yulia.
1 minute, please, because
Yes.
I always argue about pastoral ministry, as I said, and especially when the minors came, because I cannot tolerate, and they know this. And I start to fight for these kids because they hide it from us. And it's a very long story. Maybe I will have an opportunity to tell everything. But
Yes, you can also
Mr.
submit
Quiboloy
it to us in
told
writing.
me, Mr. Quiboloy told me, Yulia, don't come near to my relationship with God, because this pastoral ministry, this is my ministry, and I know what I'm doing. If I will have a problem with this, I will be the one to solve it. But when problem to appear, he never face it, because he wants the other. He used people who even are not pastoral and don't know about his life. They don't know what he eat, what his arrangement in the, they don't know anything. And we, how many years we stay under one roof? We all.
Thank you
And
very
he
much, Miss Yulia.
uses not he's until now he's not solving this problem that he created. He wants the all kingdom nation. to protect him. He want even this victim to make them as accomplishment protect him. But
Thank you very much, Miss
what I
Yulia,
want
for
to
actually
face your
helping us.
problem.
Yes, you're helping us to find out what the problems actually were and see if through our laws we can prevent them ever happening again. So thank you very much, Miss Yulia. Please stay on in our hearing in case we have other questions for you later in the hearing. We will now hear the other victim survivors. Thank you very much, Miss Yulia, and take
Thank you.
care. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. So ngayon, pakinggan naman po natin si Edward. Edward Ablaza Masayon. Sir Edward, maaari mo bang ipaalala sa amin, di ba kayo yung bahagi ng Second Signal Battalion ni Quiboloy?
Opo, Madam Chair.
Okay po. Ano po ba yung Second Signal Battalion? Para ba yung private army?
Actually po, Madam Chair, ang Second Signal Battalion is a legit po na galing sa Philippine Army. Noon po, nag-start yung ano ni Quiboloy po, yung private army po. Noong panahon pa po ng Task Force Davao, kasi yung unang batch ng Task Force Davao, yung hindi pa ako nakasali doon, meron po mga workers na kasama ko, yung pili lang, sila yung mga unang batch talaga.
Okay.
Task Force Davao is local lang po ng Davao.
Yes.
Noong 2015 po, mag-jump out po tayo. 2015, na-endorse po yung paaro sa dito sa Kingdom. Because paaro...
Hello. Ito napapansin ko sa hearing na ito, boring na. Alam niyo kung bakit? Inimbita nila si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy diyan para ipamuka yung mga ipamuka kay Pastor Apollo Quiboloy yung mga sinasabi ng mga testigo. Tama, mali. Tama, mali. Puro mga... Sandali.
Final words for today sa ating mga tagapakinig at tagapanood.
Ito lang ito. Hindi, pero ano to ito, normal naman to, pero sa korte dapat to nangyayari. Normal na dapat makaharap karapatan ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy makaharap yung mga witnesses o hindi naman mga witnesses, yung mga nag-aakusa sa kanya. Yung mga nag-aakusa. Sino-sino yung mga nag-aakusa ngayon? Wala naman yung mga nag-aakusa dyan sa kanya. Puro lahat yan mga testigo laban sa kanya. 'Di ba? Parang ano to ito totoo naman to, hindi naman to totoo naman. Tina-trial by publicity at saka lahat ng mga yon walang kinalaman doon sa gagawin nilang batas. 'Di ba? Hindi fair. Tanungin nila si Pastor Apollo, tanungin nila kung ano-ano. Biruin mo, nagsalita yung babae kanina na kesyo ganito, ganyan. Ang haba ng script niya, almost 1 hour. Almost 1 oras yung script niya. Ano nangyari? Hindi naman nila pinasagot si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy patungkol doon sa aligasyon nung babae. Wala lang. Ganun lang si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, hindi na tinanong. 'Di ba? Hindi tinanong. Tignan mo, lumayas na si Pimentel. Tapos busy sila rito. Tingnan mo. Tingnan mo ginagawa. Lahat, 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 lahat ng ano, ng inaano ni puro self-serving eh. Puro pabor sa kanila. 'Di ba? Anak kasi sabi ni Risa, wait eh, papatapusin lang daw. Eh, hindi kalokohan yun. Kasi makakalimutan na yan eh. Boring, boring, boring. Hindi, sa totoo lang. Boring talaga. Di ba nakakainis lang manood eh. Buti pa nag-topic na lang tayo. Di ba? Sayang ang oras. Buti kung nag-topic na lang tayo, nabanatan pa natin si Leila de Lima, nabanatan pa natin yung isang young guns na congressman, nabanatan pa natin si BBM, dahil si Saldico. Di ba, nabanatan pa sana natin sila sa ano eh. It's about optic kay Hontiveros. Oo nga, Ate Lenny Fermin eh. Buti pa nabanatan pa natin si BBM doon sa aksyon niya dito sa ano, sa nangyayaring bagyo. Nabanatan natin si Saldico. Putang ina, ano nang ginawa niya sa pondo niya? Putang na, lubog ngayon ng Bicol region. Di ba? Anak ng Diyos mio Marimar. Sayang ang oras ko rito. Puta, wala naman tayong natutunan. Alam nyo naman ang topic ko. Although na nagtatawanan tayo, although na meron tayong mga educational di ba? Pero ito wala eh. Puro kahambugan, puro paninirang puri, puro ay, nako. Lubog na yung ibang part ng Metro lalong-lalo naman sa Bicol region, lubog na. 'Di ba? Anak ng putang ina. Ganyan sila. Nayawa na. Wala kasing corroborating evidence yung kaya nga eh. Wala namang magpapatunay doon. Boses, ang dami ng AI ngayon. Hearing ng mga bopos, lipat ng topic buster, wala na. Pobreng lakwatsera, 2 oras at kalahati na akong live eh. Bigyan naman, mamayang gabi mag-topic tayo, magbardagulan tayo. Hindi ako pwede sa mga ganitong klaseng live nakakabobo ito eh. Nakakabobo. Kita mo, i-topic nila, eto na lang i-topic nila. Ano topic nila? Anong issue nila? Ano issue nila? Fasting na nangyayari sa isang religion. Dapat, kumuha sila ng mga resource person na iba't ibang mga relihiyon na meron din fasting. Kumuha sila ng mga Muslim, kumuha sila ng mga Iglesia ni Cristo, kumuha sila ng Jehovah's Witnesses. Di ba? Anong gagawin mong batas para sa fasting? Anak ng putang ina. Magpapaalam na ako. Pinagsalita na ba rin si Pastor? Hindi ko pa pinanood. Wala. Mag-topic ka ng mag-isa na maganda, Buster. Hindi nga, wala na akong oras. Alam nyo naman nagbibigay daan tayo sa mga kapwa natin na vlogger na nature na naningil kay Saldi. Correct. Hahanapin naman natin yung flood control project na ito. Mayroon pa naman tayong listahan ng mga flood control project. Titignan natin yung flood control project ni Saldico mamaya kung saan niya dinala yung pera. Di ba? Topic natin yan mamaya. Meron pa naman tayong kopya ng Flood control project ng bawat rehiyon. Nako, patay kayo sa akin. Hmm. Nasaan na ba yung ano, nasaan na ba yung flood control project natin mamaya pasadahan niya natin ito? Nasaan na ba yung mhm. Eto ba 'yon? Hanapin ko lang, Files, media. Naku, eto, putang ina. Nasaan na ba yung mga link na 'yon? Ng mga link ng mga flood control project nila. Nasaan na 'yon? Andito pa ba sa akin? Mhm. Tignan ko nga, wait lang, pasadahan natin 'to mamaya. Bubuksan ko, tas ipapakita ko sa inyo yung mga flood control project ng mga animal. Nasaan na 'yon? DSWD. Wait lang, Isi-save ko lang, wait lang, para mamaya ready tayo. Asa yung mga flood control project na mga link? Ito ba 'yon? Nawawala, Ito ba 'yon? Naku. Papakita ko sa inyo mamaya, hanapin ko na lang muna. Mga flood control project ng mga animal na ito. Para ma-save natin. Ito na. Ito ba 'yon? Ito na, Appropriation PDF, 2024, tangina niyo, Tignan ko nga. Puta, naka-block. Uy! Error ang putang ina. Mamaya ayusin ko, i-topic natin 'yan mamaya, 9.4 flood control sa Bicol. Hindi, makikita natin 'yan dito. Meron ako niyan. Nasaan na? Eto. Eto. Ito, papakita ko sa inyo. Ito, papakita ko sa inyo. Yan, flood control. Mga flood control project nila. Sa Bicol, pasadahan natin, Bicol Region. Ay, tagal magbukas. Details program project. Ang tagal. Maintenance and other operator expenses, flood control project. Putang ina, patay kayo sa akin dito. Mamaya pag-usapan natin ito. Andito yung mga yan. Yan, Camarines, Albay, Region 5, putang ina niya, ilan niya, Hindi pa flood control ito, ha? Ano pa lang ito? Mga kalsada pa lang ito. Region 5. Albay, First District. Nako. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Pag-usapan natin yan mamaya. Sige na, babay na. Love you all. Mamwa, chup chup, babus.